Good morning. What's going on? What's up, guys? Happy Friday. Happy Friday to everybody. I hope your week has been awesome. Hope your week's been going well. Last day of the trading week today. Last day of our free Discord. Exciting things happening, guys. Exciting things happening for us. Morning, guys. Happy Friday, brother. Happy Friday. Alright. Hey, what's up, Groovy? Hey, Honest Money. Hope you're doing well. So, guys, today, again, will be another interesting day. What's up, Johnny? And the reason I say that is because we just had more news. Yes, I'm actually feeling a lot better. Thanks for asking. I think I'm finally kicking that cold. So yeah, today we just had a few different news releases. We had our non-farm employment change. We had unemployment rate. So, and then average hourly earnings, which are all red folder news events. And then at 10 o'clock, well, at 9:45, so in like 13 minutes, we have final services PMI, which is an old orange folder, which is kind of a medium impact. And then at 10 a.m. Eastern, we have ISM services PMI, which is a red folder. And that is more about the service industry and how well the service companies in the U.S. are doing, right? So a lot of news stuff today. It's NFP. We had our Apple earnings yesterday, which ended up pumping our market pretty high, right? Apple earnings pumped us up pretty high, which a lot of people were not expecting. A lot of people were expecting Apple to underperform, but they ended up pushing the market up, and they had pretty decent earnings. What's up, guys? Good morning. Morning. What's up, D-Shot this? What's up, Amin? Yeah, guys, so let's start getting into our charting. Obviously, the market just opened, and I always like to wait for market open to start my, to start this, our pre-market, quotation marks, because I like to let the market kind of chill out a little bit after market open and start to give us more direction. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is look for Asia and London highs and lows on NQ over here on the right. So I'm going to find our Asia highs and lows, which are going to be from 7 p.m. Eastern to midnight Eastern. All right, so I'm looking for Asia low, which it looks like it's over here at 8 p.m. Eastern. Okay, and I'm going to say one thing about this. If I was trading last night, if I wasn't asleep during this time, I would have taken longs after sweeping Asia low. And it's because we are already bullish on the day. Apple earnings was pushing us up already. And once we sweep Asia low like this, I expect us to pump, right? But obviously I was asleep and not looking for trades while I'm sleeping, can't really do that, so. But let's look over here. Our Asia high is at 9:45 Eastern. Yeah, I mean, that's a good point, Jordan. I know most people were assuming Apple would underperform, but yeah, I mean, it makes sense. I know that they did a few things that people are a little bit sketchy on, in terms of some things they did to make the company look better. So yeah, I mean, we obviously saw the effects of that. Got a strong pump. All right, so now we're going to look at Asia or London high and London low. So we've obviously displaced all of our Asia high and London high, but over here at 3:15 a.m. is going to be our London low right there. So remember, London is from 2 a.m. to 5 a.m. Eastern, and then at 6 o'clock. Okay, so over here at 4:30 a.m. is going to be our London high. All right, so we have our Asia highs, London highs. This might not really matter too much today if we're going to stay all the way up here, right? But let's go up to a daily level and let's look at the daily chart here. We obviously look extremely bullish after we bounce from our daily order block. I expected us to try to come back down and back into that daily order block, but again, our earnings really pumped us back up, so a little bit different than what I expected in terms of just normal technical analysis. So our target, what I am looking for us to come up to is this daily imbalance up here, which we're already pretty close to. So daily SIBI up here, right? Fair value gap right here. We have this liquidity that I have charted out that we've already taken. So we'll see if we're going to continue up, into this daily SIBI and possibly up to our daily order block up here. It's definitely a possibility. We have more liquidity at the bottom of this daily imbalance. So we've got some buy side liquidity for sure that I could see us go try to target, but we're gonna kind of see what happens. Right, today is another one of those days where I'm gonna be extremely conservative, and right, I'm not really looking for any crazy trades. I'm just looking for really solid risk management. It is a Friday, right? Fridays are already hard enough to trade as it is, especially for newbies, for guys or girls that are haven't been trading for a while. Fridays can be tough days to trade, especially when we have a lot of news coming out. So definitely trade with caution today. Maybe scale down on your accounts, right? Just realize that Fridays can be very difficult to trade. So today we're going to come in with that mindset of expecting one thing and reacting and being able to change our mind if something else happens. All right, so on the 4 hour, we have a 4 hour imbalance up here as well. We're already in that imbalance, but it overlaps with our daily. We're trying to take out this liquidity, but we're going to see, are we going to close above, right, and displace these highs on the 4 hour, or are we going to wick back down and this is a true liquidity grab that takes us back down? Right now I'm on the 1 hour, the same liquidity level, right, on the 1 hour, same fair value gap over here. So a lot of the same levels on our daily down to a 1 hour, and obviously we look very, very bullish, but we now have to see, are we going to actually take out this high and displace it, or are we just grabbing that liquidity and are we going to drop and try to rebalance our market? Okay, I'm going to go down to a 30-minute. This is when we kind of start seeing our sell side levels, right? So our 30-minute displaced the high. Look here how it closed above our liquidity on the 30. So we see 30-minute displacement up here, which tells me, right, longs will probably try to continue. Let's see if we have it on the 15. We have 15-minute displacement, which is another sign that I think longs might continue to step in, right? 15-minute and 30-minute displacement to the upside. Okay, we might see longs start to step in. Now here's another thing to look at over here. Let's look at ES. We're in that daily SIBI after grabbing liquidity, right? Does ES react now back to the downside, or is ES going to try to push through up to this daily order block as well, right? Because ES is already in, oh yeah, let me send those right now. Because ES is already in this fair value gap, I would expect in Q to try to push up into that fair value gap on a daily level as well, right? I would expect it to try to reach up into this at the least. At the least. Yes, the manipulation is going to be very powerful today. For sure. For sure we're going to see a lot of manipulation in the market. But let's look over here on ES. We can find our Asia highs and Asia lows as well. Already got these lines over here. So Asia high is right over here, 9:30 p.m. Asia low is going to be down here at 8 p.m. So that's our Asia range right there. We did the same thing on ES. We took out our Asia low and formed our London low down here, 3:15 a.m. And then London high, we can see over here at 5 a.m. Nope, 4:30, 4:45, right? 4:45 right there. Okay, so we've just blown through those levels after news came out. So we're still looking very bullish. Okay, let's go down to a 5-minute time frame. let's see what's happening, right? A lot of chop so far after market open. We have not seen any clear breakout or anything yet. We're just kind of sitting in this accumulation range. Nothing that I would take so far in this market, right? I would be waiting for either a breakout, right, a displacement move and a retracement move, or a manipulation down to try to catch the longs, right? Because right now I'm assuming longs are going to continue. That's my assumption. My assumption is that longs will continue. Okay, but we have to remember, guys, we have news coming out in like 4 minutes. Okay, so we have news coming out in about 4 minutes, which is medium impact news, and we also have news coming out at 10 a.m. Eastern, right, which is in about 19 minutes. So we have to be very, very careful. I'm not going to try to hop in trades while the news is being released, right? But just look at all this accumulation we're seeing. A ton of accumulation, not really breaking out. So what I would want to see is some kind of breakout, and then retracement, like I said, or a manipulation move at maybe if price wants to continue up into this daily fair value gap above, maybe we see price manipulate back down, try to fill some of that 15-minute imbalance down here, right, and then come back up. So those are kind of the two things I'm looking for right now. But yeah, just notice on ES how we're pushing through that daily imbalance, right? And which is why I would expect NQ to do the same thing now, because NQ is so close to this daily imbalance. Our market structure is bullish, right? So now we're starting to see that breakthrough. We're starting to see that breakthrough happen now, but we are getting some SMT divergence here. Look how ES failed to take this high, and look how NQ just swept this high. Right, so this is why we wait for our confluences and trades, because remember how SMT divergence can indicate a reversal in our market, and that's why we're looking over here at ES. So if price doesn't displace here on NQ, and we see ES fail to take this high, then we might expect price to try to come back down, right? To try to kind of reverse on us or get retracement. But if we do displace strongly at this high, I'd want to see displacement on the 5-minute today or the 15-minute today. But again, I'm not going to jump into a trade right when news is released. Maybe we give it a second, maybe we give it a few minutes, and if news isn't too volatile, we could still catch a good trade setup after the news is released, but give it some time. But again, I'm not really eager or in the mindset that I need to take trades today, right? We are very, very, very green on the week in the past 2 weeks. And the worst thing we could do to ourselves is try to force trades into the market on a Friday when we know price is going to be volatile, and end up giving back a lot of those profits, right, after having such a disciplined past 2 weeks where we've taken great trades. We've had very good sessions, right? Like, we should be very green, because if you think about it, we've technically in our live sessions had one losing day, I think, in the past 2 weeks. I'm pretty positive, right? So if that's the case, I know everybody trades on their own. I know a lot of you guys do your own thing. But speaking of live sessions, we should be very, very, very in the green, right? So there's no point in just trying to force trades on a Friday because you want to get trades in before the weekend because you just feel the need to. You should never feel the need to have to trade, because that's when you start taking bad trades. Looking over here, I'm looking at the VIX right now on a different screen, and obviously the VIX has been dumping, but we're, and it looks like it wants to continue dumping. Same thing with the XY, right, which are both indices that we want to see go the opposite way of what NQ is doing and what ES is doing. Okay, so the news is being released right now. We're seeing that breakout. Let's look at a 5-minute. We displace on the 5-minute, right, which is what we want to see. We still have divergence here, right? So if this was a normal trade, if we didn't have news being released just right now, I would wait for price now to come back down into this 5-minute order block especially if we form a 5-minute fair value gap. Remember how we took 2 of these entries yesterday where we had a breakout fair value gap form with an order block overlapping? We waited for retracement and we caught 2 scalp moves off of that, right? And that was during our profit firm session. If we would have held that original trade, guys, that we took, or our second trade that we took during a prop firm session and never sold it until that my final TP I was talking about, it would have been like 270 ticks, right? So we had our analysis on point. We had 2 really solid setups, and this was that exact type of setup that we took. So, I'd want to see price coming back down, right? Maybe we form one more 5-minute candle, price trades back down into this level, and we catch it back up maybe to the 50% of our daily time frame. Let's look over here. Do we have some liquidity levels here? Besides, we don't really have a lot of liquidity levels. Okay, we have like a 15-minute order block up here. Right, we've got this order block all the way up here. And it's obviously an imbalance, but if we see ES pushing through this imbalance like we've been seeing it, I wouldn't expect NQ to get too much of resistance from this daily fair value gap, right? It looks like we really could push right through it. Oh, that's funny. I didn't see your question, Nesco. So yes, in terms of the daily time frame, I'm always looking at the 50% level of our imbalances in our order blocks, right? So it's that equilibrium, it's that constant encroachment. I always expect us to, that's why I talk about taking profit at the 50%, because we often see price fill 50% of a fair value gap and then get rejection, right? But here we have this 15-minute order block overlapping this daily order block up here. So I would kind of expect price, with how much bullish momentum we have, to try to push through, up into this, at least this 15-minute, and possibly up to this daily order block. So we're gonna see. Okay, so I want to wait, right? I'm gonna wait for this 5-minute candle to close. Obviously we have news that just came out, so I'm just gonna give it some time to kind of course. I'm gonna give it some time to do its thing, right? And I don't care if I miss out. Let's say we do end up pumping right now. Yeah, we have news at 10, which is red folder news, right? So I won't be in any trade at 10 o'clock, right? But if we could catch a scalp before 10 o'clock and that setup's there, I might look to take it. But yeah, besides that, I'll be waiting, right? If I don't see a setup before 10, I'll be waiting until after 10 to take any trade, right? But we do have this right here. We have a displacement candle, strong displacement here, leaving behind a 5-minute fair value gap. Five-minute fair value gap, right? With an order block. You think it's... Yes, I didn't forget to record today. Thank you for reminding me though. Yep, we got it going today. You think it's forming a unicorn on the 1 minute, you say? A unicorn on the 1 minute. Let's check it out. Are you talking about this low high, lower low here? Right here? We do have a low high, lower low. In terms of the unicorn, we do have a fair value gap down here. You're good. Technically, yes, we do have a unicorn. You're technically right. Right, we have this low high, lower low displacement leaving behind this fair value gap down here. That's in line with our 1 minute breaker. So you are correct. You are correct, right? So that 5-minute order block would align perfectly with this 1 minute breaker, right? So that's just another confirmation there for us. So now we got strong displacement. So I would want to see us trade back down into here to be able to, catch a pretty solid long setup. And like I said, guys, I want to be out of my trade before 10. The only way I would stay in my trade during the news is if I had already caught say we did catch this trade in the next 10 minutes, we actually pump like a long time, like say we pumped like 100 ticks, right? I would think about staying in my trade and just moving my stop into profit, because there's potential that, you know, then you could catch a lot of ticks if price keeps pumping, right? So at that point, to me, it's not really gambling, because I already took profit out of my trade and I already have my stop in profit, right? So that's the only time I'll leave a trade going during news, is if I've already caught a lot of reward on the trade and I'm willing to let that one go and stop me out in profit, right? That's the only time I'll trade during news. I'll never trade right when the news is released, or stay in a trade if price is right around my break even, because then we could get a lot of slippage and price could end up, you know, coming down and hitting me at break even and losing way more than I would want to lose, right? So, you know, like I said, that's the only time I would enter during news, especially if you guys are a beginner. You know, if you don't know how to trade certain news releases like FOMC, I would just stay out of it completely. No, so I'm waiting for, right, that's price to retrace back down into our 5-minute busy down here, and if we do that, right, I think that'd be a pretty solid entry. But like I said, if we don't do that until 7 o'clock or 10 o'clock Eastern, then I'm probably not going to get an entry. Got to train live fire. Dang, dude. Good stuff, man. Stay safe out there. Right, so you know how I always talk about our 1 minute, you know, like breakaway fair value gaps, 1 minute breakaway order blocks. Those are also levels that I like to take trades off of in strong trends. So like, let's say this 1 minute displaces this level here, these highs, leaving behind an order block, and then we were chasing into that order block. That's another level I would look to take long, right? That's another level I would look to take long. But obviously we're not really moving too much right now. We're kind of consolidating a little bit after that minor pump from our news release. So right now it's all about patience, guys. You're not going to see me jump into any trades and rush, right? Like I said, it's a Friday. We got news. This is a day where you need to focus on being patient. Right? And I preach that every single day because it's always important, but especially on days like this. Okay, so we see that pump now. So let's say we displace here on the 1 minute. Well, maybe I'll look for a long setup if we retrace back into this 1 minute order block right here. Right, but I need to see strong displacement here, which if you guys haven't watched any of my videos and you don't know what displacement is, right, displacement is where the body of this candle would close above the highs, right, showing strength and volume to the upside, which gives me that conviction that, you know, that move will continue, right? Right, yeah, you could have gotten an entry off that 1 minute fair value gap down here for sure, right? That could have been a decent entry, but for me that just wasn't enough just yet. Okay, so now we've displaced, we formed this 1 minute order block here, right? So this might be an entry I'd look for. Right, our true order block is kind of down at this 1 minute down here, but this pattern right here this is all an order block. Okay, so we could even get an entry at off the top of this if we wanted to. But let's just check what our risk management would be, because I'm not liking my risk too much on this trade compared to what the reward would be. I mean, we could catch a decent reward if we held it all the way up to our 50% level. Right, I just don't like where my stop loss would be here, but we're still looking pretty bullish. Obviously, we're looking like we're getting a reaction off that 1 minute, but I need to see a little bit more confirmation here, and then I'll look for an entry. Right, if we're seeing that reaction, I'll look for an entry off this 1 minute for sure. So let's just see what happens here. Okay, I'm gonna get. Oh, I just got my order rejected. I was on the wrong account. So I didn't get that entry. I was about to get that entry, guys. Sorry, I meant to get an entry here, but maybe it's for the best that I didn't. Let's see what happens. Yeah, I was on the wrong account, but anyways, I wanted to see an entry off of this, but now we're starting to see a rejection here. So, you know, maybe it's for the best I didn't get that entry yet. Okay, we do have 5 minutes until news. And we still do have this fair value gap down here. So let's start to, let's wait for retracement. Maybe we wait for that news to be released. Okay, we're starting to get that strong move down. Now I'm kind of happy that I didn't get that entry. Okay, but we still have this order block, so let's see if we try to push through this order block. But if we start to get a strong reaction off this 1 minute, I'll still consider taking the longs. But when we see our candle open like this, especially in a 5 minute candle, where we open aggressively up to the upside and instantly reject, come back down, I'm not really looking for longs to continue a lot of the time. But again, on the 1 minute time frame, we still look very bullish. Okay, so I might look for an entry here in the longs. Okay, I just got an entry in the longs there. So my entry is obviously high. I'm just going to go half a lot on this trade. My entry is kind of high, but I do like that momentum we're getting, and we're forming another 1 minute order block. Right, so let's say we do push up and displace. 1175 is my entry. So not my favorite, not the best entry I could have got. All right, I'm going to keep my stop just at the lows, 50 ticks here. 17.9925. Right, so I'm just going to keep half a lot in this trade and just see if it'll run. Right, I don't want to go in full lot just yet. Especially with news coming out, we might see a little bit more manipulation here. But again, we see a bounce off of our order block. We form another order block. If we displace this 1 minute again with strong follow through, right, on the 1 minute, and then we retrace back into the order block, I could get a re-entry for a full position. Right, but we have news coming out in 3 minutes, so I might even just get out of this trade if we start, just cut my risk here. If we start to drop from this level. We'll see. It's just getting in a trade right before news is not my favorite thing to do. Right, that's why I'm talking about cutting my risk early if we do start to kind of reject. Right, we're not really getting follow through here, so I might just cut my loss here. Let's see. All right, I'm just going to cut my loss there. Just keep it small. Yeah, I'm going to keep it small. Even if we do pump here, I'm going to wait for news, guys. And, even if we pump here, oh well. No FOMO. That's fine, right? If you want to keep holding this trade, feel free to do so, right? Because we still are getting rejection off the 1 minute. But again, we're up top of this range. We have news coming out in 2 minutes. I'm just going to wait. I'm going to wait for that news. So I just took a really small loss there. Half a lot. So I'm willing to just kind of wait for that news release. Wait for a better setup to come into play. Like I said, I don't want to force any trades here. We're obviously looking very bullish still, and if you want to hold this trade, you can do that. But I personally won't. I'm not going to get in any trade right now, any more trades until after news is released, and then we kind of see what news is doing. If it keeps pushing us up, cool. Then we'll look for retracement, look for another good setup. But yeah, we are excuse me, guys, we are a little overextended up here. Looks like we've already seen the bulk of the move push up, and we're starting to kind of see that rejection back down now. Maybe we're going to come back down to this 5 minute. Remember, news comes out in less than 30 seconds, guys, and it's red folder, right, which means high impact. So yeah, I'm obviously not in any position right now, so I would recommend probably not being in a position. Obviously, you can do what you want. You got free will. You can choose what you want to do, but I personally won't be in anything. Look at that. Look at that. All right, let's see what happens. Remember, guys, if you're in a position, you could get really bad slippage. Really bad slippage where you get filled like 10, 20 points from where you wanted to get filled, right? So just be careful. Look at that manipulation move we see. Crazy manipulation candle here, and look at this drop. Look at that drop. Alright, this is why I don't stay in a trade, and this is why I don't trade the news. Alright, this is why I wait for the news to come out, and then we're going to see what direction the market's trying to go after this news release. And that's when we can catch a really good trade. Look at the weekly candle. Yeah, weekly is crazy. We're trying to push through that weekly imbalance up here. We're trying to push through the weekly imbalance. Crazy wick down that we've seen. I mean, we've been bearish pretty much all week except for yesterday. We had, and also on, what day was it? On Monday. Yeah, I mean, Monday we had kind of like it was still a bullish day, but it was kind of in between. Yeah, I mean, we've been bearish all week until yesterday and today. But yeah, so now we're trying to push through that weekly imbalance. But obviously this news release, if we're looking at a technical analysis, like this looks extremely bearish. This looks like a manipulation move, liquidity grab up here, you know, forming a bearish breaker. Right, it looks like we're really trying to head down here. Right, so I'm not gonna get in anything. I'm gonna give this some time to kind of chill out, do its thing. See if we do push through these sell side levels, or if we're gonna respect them. Right, are we gonna respect this 5 minutes busy, this 5 minute order block, or are we gonna completely push through these levels? Right, if we respect them and we come back up, then obviously I'm still thinking long, right? Because all of my other confluences tell me long, right? All my higher time frames are telling me we're bullish, right? You know, I know we are in a daily. We almost hit that. We almost got consequent encroachment of that daily fair value gap, but overall, our whole structure in the market is still bullish, right? And that's why I still think we're bullish until I see these bearish levels disrespected, right? And that's what I mean by, you know, you always hear me say expect one thing and react to if that doesn't happen, right? So I'm expecting a bullish move for the day, and if that doesn't happen, then I'm able to react and readjust my plan, right? Because I'm not stuck in one way of thinking, because I understand that sometimes I'm going to be wrong, right? Sometimes my analysis won't be right, and I'm telling you, the best traders are the ones that can readjust their plan while they're in, you know, during a trading day. That they're not stubborn on their thinking, and they're not trying to force longs if the market's bearish, right? They're not trying to force something that's not there. So, what news affects QQQ? I mean, QQQ is, right, it's going to be a lot of the same news that affects NQ, right? Because, you know, all of our tech earnings are going to affect QQQ, right? So all of our NASDAQ earnings with our bigger companies like the Magnificent Seven, and pretty much most of our news releases like FOMC and CPI, PPI, right? All of that stuff is still going to affect QQQ. Obviously, NQ is very volatile, so we see the effect on NQ a lot more than other indexes or other indices because of how volatile it is, right? It's easier to kind of see that effect. But yeah, guys, patience. Going to continue to wait. Continue to wait for this news to kind of chill out and actually pick a direction. I wanted to actually pick a direction because we're still respecting our, you know, our fair value gap here, our order block, until we can displace those lows, you know, form an actual bearish breaker. I'm not gonna, you know, look for a short setup just yet. We obviously are starting to look very bearish. I mean, if you look at the 1 minute, we grab liquidity, long wick up, we form this 1 minute order block right here. We bounce from this 1 minute order block. So we're obviously looking very bearish, but you're not going to see me jump into the shorts while we're still in these bullish support levels, right? So we just disrespected that 5 minute fair value gap. Okay, so that's our first confirmation in the shorts. My second confirmation for the shorts will be, can we displace this order block right here? Can we get that true market structure shift back to the downside? And if that's the case, well, then we might come down and try to fill that news imbalance that we have from this morning, right, on the 15-minute, the 5-minute. Right, but until that happens, you're not going to see me going in the shorts, right? Especially because news manipulates. Guys, this news releases will manipulate this market like crazy. You're going to expect it to completely do one thing, and it's going to flip directions like 3 times on you. And this is why I always say just be careful. If you're going to trade the news, you got to be very, very careful. Because even if you have the best risk management, you're still going to sometimes get slippage. And like, let's say you had your stop loss, I don't know, at this low here, 17,965, and we see an aggressive drop with very volatile movement, then you might not get filled until all the way down at this low at like 17,948, right? So that's a lot of slippage there. And trust me, guys, I've been there. That's happened to me many times. I've tried to do it. And yeah, I've gotten lucky sometimes where I just gambled the news, when I was first trading. But for the most part, it didn't work out for me. I'll tell you that. And I would end up blowing accounts because I would go in super heavy. And then I would have my stop loss where I think I'd be safe. But then it would not fill my stop at where I wanted it to. I would get a bunch of slippage and the account would get blown. Or it would be very close, right? So it's just, to me, it's not a smart way to go about it. Yeah, we're still bouncing off support here, right? This 5-minute order block, bullish order block here. All right, I can type this out. All right, we got that plus OB right here. Right, and that's like I said, that's why I won't believe in the shorts until we get a market structure shift and displace these lows. Right, so you're not going to see me do that until we displace these lows. 5-minute OB on ES is the 50% on the daily. Let's check it out. Okay, so we got our daily there. Yeah, we're obviously seeing very bearish tendencies here, and if we break structure to the downside and we get a market structure shift, you're going to start seeing me looking for a short setup. All right, but this is where that patience comes into play, where I'm not going to put unnecessary risk into the market until I'm extremely confident in my convictions, right? Until I have strong conviction in my trades, right? Although I do think right here, this price action looks extremely bearish, right? We're bouncing from an order block, we form another order block, we're trying to displace. You're not going to see me get in the shorts until we actually displace these lows. Yeah, exactly. And yeah, that's exactly right. Like, if we do end up displacing and we have an opportunity to get in these shorts, right? If we did come down, that's a trade where we could actually see price come back down and fill this entire gap here, right? We could see price come all the way down, fill this entire gap, and possibly come all the way back down to to our open, to our true daily open, which is at midnight Eastern, right? So it's like right here, right? That's our true daily open, which is just beneath London high, right? So that's what I mean. Like, if we actually were able to wait for this displacement and then wait for a retracement move, we could catch a very high risk to reward setup on the shorts. But I'm not gonna jump into any trade, because look how we keep manipulating. Look how we keep manipulating here. We're not breaking through. The 5 minutes about to close and we still have not broken through these lows. All right, so you're not gonna see me jumping into a trade just yet. Yeah, the true daily open is midnight, right? So you could chart it out on your 15-minute time frame and find that midnight Eastern candle, right? And that's like that true daily open for the day, right? And plenty of people use that level to to determine if they want to sell or if they want to long. I mean, I look at that level. I don't look at that level all the time. You know, I don't necessarily read too much into it, but I think it is important to keep an eye on. So look what we've done now. We've created equal lows here. So what does that mean? Now we have liquidity resting below. Right, so we've got sell side here at these equal lows. Right here. Okay, so whenever we generate equal lows or equal highs, remember that becomes a stronger draw on liquidity, right? That I always assume price is going to come back down eventually and try to take out, right? So when I see us form these equal lows, when I see us form what looks like a bearish order block here, right, I would want to see price continue to the downside and take out these lows here. This is just a tough one because we're in this strong 5-minute bullish order block, right? So I really have to wait. We're still very volatile, but again, I would expect us to come down to sweep these lows, and then that's when we can see, okay, are we going to get strong displacement of the lows? And if that's the case, then we have an amazing resistance level here at this 5-minute order block. If we do come down and sweep these lows, and if we retrace into that order block, I'm going short. Right, but not until that happens. And like I always tell you guys, I know some people, you know, don't like to wait. They don't like to wait for a setup. They like to take a lot of trades at market open and be done with the day, right? But that's not my style. I'm someone that will wait for a long time. If my setup doesn't show, I'm not going to take it, right? So you could see me waiting a long time until I take a trade, and that's my style and that's my edge, right? And I'm very conservative. I'm very patient. And you know, that's what I found to be successful for me, right? If I don't see my setup, why am I going to take it? That just lowers my probability of winning when I take setups that I don't normally take. Right? And I think if you guys have been trading with me the past 2 weeks, I think you've seen that it's paid off for us, right? Our patience has really paid us the past 2 weeks. All right, so we're starting to get that drop now. Right, this structure here, it does look very bearish. Right, it looks like we're trying to form a bearish, kind of a bearish breaker here. Right, especially when we form these order blocks like this after a strong displacement or a strong candle like that, this bearish candle. I expect this next candle to come down and displace. Okay, so we're starting to get that displacement, but remember, I'm going to wait for that 5-minute to close. And if we close below on the 5-minute, that's when I'm really looking for shorts. That's when I'm looking for shorts. But if we come down, sweep liquidity here, and we come back up, you're not going to see me looking for shorts. Because remember, when I talk about displacement and liquidity, when we see a liquidity level and we come down and our price grabs liquidity but wicks back up like we're seeing right now and closes above, that indicates that we're bullish, right? Because we're just grabbing liquidity and we're heading back up. But if this candle comes down, grabs liquidity but continues that, you know, strong momentum to the downside and closes with the body below, that's when I'm expecting price to see that continuation to the downside. Okay, and that's why I wait for these candles to close. It's not because I'm waiting. I'm not waiting for no reason. I'm waiting for that conviction, right? So we're gonna see what happens right here. We got 1 minute left, about 45 seconds left on this 15 and 5-minute candle. 15 and 5-minute candle here. So we're going to see if we displace. Again, I would like to see that displacement, especially bouncing from a daily fair value gap. And I would like to see us head back down from here after grabbing buy-side liquidity so aggressively at news. You know, but if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. I would still look for shorts, yes. If we get a strong displacement move, I would still look for shorts to try to come down and at least fill 50% of that. You know, if we look at our 15-minute fair value gap here, at least get consequent encroachment of that 15-minute, which we could still catch a pretty decent trade here, right, with that 15-minute like that. So I'm just going to chart out our 50% of that fair value gap, right, but we didn't get displacement still. All right, so that's our 50%. or you could also put EQ, whatever you want to put. All right, I don't want to have this big old block on my charts. It's a little distracting. Hey, let's go. Top Step payout. That's what I'm talking about. Hey, you better send that to our payout tab. Okay, so we still haven't gotten that displacement. Our structure still looks bearish overall, but look, when we come down and grab liquidity like that and we wick back up, I would expect us to, come back up, but this structure is still, it's still keeping me from wanting to go long just yet. Right? But like I said, this 5-minute order block could be very strong. We just haven't displaced it. So that's why I've been waiting. Let's look at a 1-minute time frame. All this is like, yeah, it's a bearish trend, but to me this is not enough for me to want to get into a trade. Right? To me this is too up and down. Although we are keeping that bearish trend right now, it's not enough momentum and it's not enough volume for me to feel confident enough in the shorts just yet, right? So, like I said, guys, I'll continue to be patient. Some people might not like that, and all I gotta say is that's fine. That's fine. Guys, I just want to say, like, my whole plan here for this Discord is for you to figure out what your trading style is if you're newer to trading. And that's why I run 2 separate sessions, with one being like our live accounts or our main accounts that we trade in the morning, and then one being a prop firm session where we can focus on a little bit more of different style, right? And that's why I always try to give you guys different ideas, and I still call out certain setups even if I'm not taking them, right? Because I want you guys to start figuring out what your style is, what kind of trader you are, what you feel comfortable trading, what kind of risk you like to take, how you handle trades emotionally. And that's why journaling our trades is so important, right? Because that's how you figure out what kind of trader you are. Yeah, we took one trade and I ended up just selling down like a few ticks, small loss, just because it was right before news and we didn't see any follow through, right? And I was like, we were kind of overextended, so I just decided to get out of it, right? I wasn't even going to wait for it to go down and hit my stop. I just decided to get out. So yeah, it was a pretty small loss. I think it was like 15 ticks or something. How long it would take to learn to be profitable if your only aim to focus is trading? I mean, everybody's journey is different. And I will say the more screen time you put in deliberate learning, like that, the faster that process can become. I'm not going to say that it will happen, but I will say the more dedication you put into actually learning the right way and not just coming into the market with real money before you've learned anything and just guessing and gambling, right? But if you put in real screen time and you put hours into it, like when I first started trading, guys, when I first started learning, I mean, I would be on my computer from market open until like, I don't even know, like pretty much all day. I was on my computer almost all day, right? And you don't have to do that. I'm not saying you need to do that to be successful, but you definitely need to put that back testing, that screen time, and that learning. You have to put time in for that if you do want to find success. Okay, because then you can get to the point where you can take your trades and then you can get off and you're done for the day, and maybe you journal, but that's it. You don't need to do anything else, right? Because you already know what your strategy is. You already know what your plan is every single day coming into the market. But like, it's different for everybody. Some people take a year to be profitable. Some people take 3 years to be profitable, right? It's everybody has their own journey, and that's why I say don't compare yourself to others. Okay, compare yourself to who you were yesterday. If you can compare yourself to who you were yesterday and you're trying to get 1% better every day, then I'm telling you, there's a very high likelihood that you're going to find success in the future, right? And it's so hard not to compare yourself to others because of social media and all this, especially with the trading community, and you see all these other people finding success on social media, and it's like, yeah, it's difficult. But guys, like if you only focus on that, it's going to be a lot harder to find success, because you're always going to be thinking you're not good enough. Like, you're good enough already with who you are, but you have to strive to be better, right? Better than who you were yesterday. I'm telling you, it's going to make a huge, huge impact on your life in many ways. Okay, let's see what just happened. So we still didn't get displacement yet on the 5-minute, but we're now looking very bearish. All right, so we've gotten displacement on the 1 minute now, where we've taken out this low. We formed a 1 minute breaker. Okay, so let's see what we do at VWAP. ES has now gone below VWAP. But again, guys, I'll continue with this patience, waiting for this 5-minute time frame to displace, because the 1 minute you could easily get faked out by, right? The 1 minute will fake you out more than you know. But if you can look at the 5 and the 15-minute time frame and then frame your trades on a 1 minute, like that's how you take good trades. But if I was just trying to take trades off the 1 minute time frame without any higher time frame confirmation, you know how many trades I would lose? Like, I would probably lose a lot of trades. Right? So getting that higher time frame confirmation allows you to actually find the right setups and just get that extra confluence. And then you go down to a 1 minute and you see a breakaway fair value gap or an order block form, and then you can really dial in those entries. Right? So like that's why you see me waiting, because this to me is still chop. I know we're still trending down, but to me this is still chop. It's too much up and down. Too much up and down. Look at these wicks here. Look how we come down, bounce off VWAP. We still haven't displaced. So I'm not going to take a trade until we displace. And like I always say, let's say right now we were just to drop 200 ticks, right? And we go hit that full TP I was talking about, or the equilibrium. I'm not going to have FOMO, because I know that wasn't a part of my plan. Right? If it's not a part of my plan, then I'm not going to trade it. And I'm not going to get FOMO if I miss out on it. Because there's so many opportunities in this market, guys, if we're just patient, to where it shouldn't matter if you miss out on a trade. Right? Because I'm telling you, you're going to kick yourself so hard if you continue to try to force trades that you didn't wait for your setup, you weren't patient, and then you lose that trade. It's going to sting a lot more than if you lost a trade with your actual trading plan, right? I really don't care. I hate losing personally, but I don't care if I lose if it was a part of my plan, because I understood my risk before I got into the trade and I knew what could happen. But when I get pissed at myself is when I take a trade that doesn't align with my plan and then I lose. It's the worst feeling, guys. It's the worst feeling. And I'm sure we've all felt that feeling before. I'm sure some of you might have felt that feeling today already. Yeah, so we do see ES down, but even ES hasn't displaced yet. I mean, ES has barely displaced this low here, but we still haven't seen a strong close below. Right, and we're seeing that reaction here. This price action, I'm going to be honest with you, kind of sucks right now. It kind of sucks. Like, yeah, it's not great so far. It is Friday, right? That's what I said right when I hopped on, right? Friday is not my favorite day to trade, but I still will trade it. Like today, if we have a good setup, I'll still trade. It doesn't mean I'm not going to trade, right? But Fridays can be kind of tricky days to trade, right? Especially NFP, especially post FOMC, right? They can be a little bit trickier. So this right here, right? We're so choppy that like our levels aren't really playing out how to expect. But seeing a bounce from VWAP like that after grabbing liquidity and failing to displace, I would expect price to now jump. I would expect price to jump, but obviously price action is a little weird right now. So we're seeing some different things happen. We're just still choppy. My VWAP inputs here. Let me pull it up. It's just, I think it's, yeah, this is just my VWAP right here. Yeah, and that's what our choppy movement, it's accumulation, right? So we're accumulating orders in the market, just preparing for the expansion move. Preparing for the expansion move, collecting orders, right? Collecting orders, you know, building up orders, right? That's what all of this is, building up orders to then actually get a strong expansion move to one side, right, with a lot of volume. Okay, so this is a pretty strong candle so far to the downside. But again, I'm not going to get caught in manipulation. Obviously, we're still looking very bearish. But I'm not going to hop into a trade yet until I see displacement on this 5-minute time frame. I'm going to be honest with you. Like, let's look at the 1 minute, right? We haven't even displaced on the 1 minute just yet of this candle. Let's say on the 1 minute this candle does displace right now, and we have this fair value gap resting above, right? Maybe I would think about shorting, but again, guys, it's just until I see that 5-minute confirmation, I'm not really feeling feeling the need to jump in, right? Not really feeling the need to jump into a trade. Go 15. See, we're still bouncing. We're still bouncing. We also just entered into our hourly, right? This is that news fair value gap here. All right, like I said, patience is key here. Patience is key. 15-minute still also has not displaced this low. All right, so we have a 15-minute and a 5-minute close in just under 3 minutes. So, yeah, it's just, we got SMT, you said? Where did we get SMT? Because both of these took out the low here. Not to call you out or anything, I'm just saying. We have NQ take out this low, and we had ES take out this low, right? Smart money trickery. Yeah, it's literally like, it's a divergence, right? So it's where we're looking at a correlating market. Right, so we're seeing a correlating market like ES and NQ, and while one manipulates, the other doesn't. Right, I'm pretty sure SMT stands for what, Smart Money Tools or something? I think it's Smart Money Tools. Smart Money Tool, I'd have to look it up real quick. I always forget. Yeah, I think it's Smart Money Tool. Smart Money Trap. Okay, so look at that. That's why we wait. This is why we wait, guys. Look at that manipulation move to the downside. And this is what I mean. Why do you think I haven't entered in shorts yet? It's because of this. And now we're starting to see, this is that manipulation move. We're starting to see us try to break structure back to the upside. Look at that 15-minute candle. Right, so like we're looking like we want to pump now. We're looking like we want to pump. Right, so like I said, our overall bias on the day is still bullish. It's still bullish, which is another reason I wasn't wanting to jump into the shorts, right, too early. Although we could get a retracement move, like this looks like this was our retracement move, right? So let's see how this closes in about 20 seconds. I would want to see a strong close. All right, this isn't a very strong close, but this is indicating that this is a true liquidity grab here, grabbing these equal lows, bouncing off VWAP, bouncing off our news fair value gap. Right, so if we're going to go long, I would expect us to come target that high again. Right, so now we have buy side up here. Okay, so now it's just about finding the right entry. Okay, so that's a pretty good candle there on the 5-minute. Okay, so now these are the entries I'm going to look for. Okay, we have this 1-minute order block here. We have a fair value gap resting just below, right? So now if we get displacement on this 1 minute candle above this order block, now this order block is one of my targets for entry. Right, this order block would be one of my targets for entry, but I need to see displacement to the upside before I do that. Right? I need to see this 1 minute candle close above. Right? We're not doing that, so you're not going to see me getting a long entry just yet. Right, we do have this 1 minute fair value gap here, displacement candle, breaking structure. So yeah, we have that. We now have a little bit of conviction here that we could really see a continuation to the upside. But remember, when we don't displace this order block here, it doesn't give me all the confidence in the world. Okay, although we still could bounce from this order block, I'm still going to be patient and wait. Right, so once we displace this high up here, man, that's when I'm starting to think about really getting an entry. But if we don't do that, you're going to see me still sitting out of this trade. You're going to still see me, because look at that 5 minute wick right now. We're still in this 5 minute bearish order block, and we're getting a lot of resistance here. So, you know, it's just about patience here. You don't want to see this 15 minute just traded up into that 15 minute bearish fair value gap, and look at that drop back down. And we're still reacting off this 5 minute bearish order block. So I'm really just waiting here, guys. I'm really going to be patient. I'm going to be patient. Yeah, there's a lot of manipulation in our market. The price action is kind of trash right now. And that's why you don't really see me taking any trades. That's why you haven't seen me taking any trades right now. Yeah, I'm just really not liking this price action. Again, I would expect, like, after seeing this structure right here, after bouncing from that fair value gap, right? If we're gonna be bull or bearish, then I would need to see us really start to push through this 15 minute, you know, turn this into a 15 minute order block, you know, bearish order block, or this 5 minute really come down. Because right now, I still don't have confirmation for either side. I don't have confirmation for either side. And you guys can see, like, there's plenty of trades that if we would have taken, we probably would have been stopped out of every trade we would have taken so far. Right? Like, all of this manipulation, none of this tells me to get into a trade. None of this tells me to get into a trade whatsoever. Yeah, exactly. We're moving sideways. We're ranging. This is just a range right here. It's a sideways range. It's a consolidation range. That's all it is. And it's kind of to be expected, right? After a lot of news, after FOMC, it's a Friday. Yeah, sometimes I'll swing trade. I normally don't, you know, like, I haven't really held a trade for more than a day, you know, and that's technically what a swing trade is. Sometimes I'll swing something overnight, but yeah, that's pretty much it so far. There's certain times in the market where I will look to swing a trade for like a week, maybe longer, depending on our structure. Like if I really think we're gonna, like, say we look at a weekly time frame, and I really think that we're gonna continue long, you know, all the way up to these highs after bouncing from this weekly order block. You know, maybe down here, if I really expected that, I would swing and just hold it for until it gets up to these highs, right? But I don't really necessarily trade like that. It's not typically. I'm typically just taking intraday trades. Yeah, that's what I was talking about, guys. This daily. Look how we got almost consequent encroachment of this daily fair value gap. We're seeing that reaction off of it, right? Which was another reason why I've been waiting and I've been patient here. Another reason why we wait for displacement on either side. I'm having a good day, man. I'm having a good day. I'm excited. I'm going to a wedding later today. Should be a good weekend. Haven't been to a wedding in a long time. Yeah, the only way you could swing trade is if you have a live account. Actually, technically, like I said, I've never swung over the course of more than a day, so you might still get liquidated, huh? No, I don't. That's actually a good question. I'd have to look at that because I have not swing traded like that before. You have to record an event tonight and prom. Like you're going to prom tomorrow, or you're shooting prom tomorrow? Like, as I know you said you're a photographer. Yeah, the margin. Yes, I do know that the margin is crazy for holding for multiple days, right? So you kind of do have to have a lot of capital to be able to do that. Oh, nice. That's sick. Yeah, I mean, I know I sound like a broken record today, guys, but I'm just going to continue this patience. Right now, on a 1 minute time frame, I would think bullish. Right, on a 1 minute time frame, I would expect this price action looks like we want to continue up. Okay, but if I'm looking over here at a 15 and a 5, we're kind of caught in between. Right? We're bouncing from a 15-minute order block or a fair value gap, and we're bouncing after grabbing liquidity and touching into our daily or our news fair value gap. So we're just really consolidating. We still haven't seen any good trade setups yet. Personally, I haven't. Maybe you guys have caught something good. I personally have not seen any good trade setups just yet. So this, to me, just nothing clear. Nothing clear just yet. And if we don't see any trade setups in this session, well, then I won't take any trade setups. Right? I'll obviously still be looking for setups, throughout the morning. But I'm going to continue this patience and wait for the market to literally show me something so clear that I would feel dumb not taking it, right? That's kind of my mindset. That's kind of my mindset right now. But yeah, I mean, while we're waiting for the market to do something, you guys got some plans this weekend? What do you guys get into this weekend? Anything cool? DJing at a club, tennis, spa day with Shorty. More work. Respect to you. Oof, I've always wanted to go fly fishing. I've never been. Hey, running a 5K? Nice. Playing Xbox. Always a good time. What fight is on this weekend? Woke up in Vegas. Be careful out there. You go to Italy for 3 months? Dude, that's sick. Oh, Canelo's fighting? Omar, you're going to Vegas? Nice. Running all of Africa for the weekend? Good luck with that. That's a nice schedule, Jordan. Grind out your job on the weekends and trade on the weekdays. I love it. Oh, Canelo and De La Hoya. That should be a good fight. That should be a good fight. Oh yeah, we'll for sure be making some more trips back up to Alaska. That's for sure. Yeah, I've been to Alaska a few times actually. I love it up there. It's beautiful. Yeah, I was camping up in Alaska, and we're like right on this lake, and just kind of camping in tents, and I didn't have a mat or anything, just laying on the ground. And like as I'm falling asleep, there's this huge earthquake. I'm literally like shaking back and forth in my tent. I'm used to earthquakes here in California, but not like while I'm laying on the ground. It's pretty crazy. What's the likelihood you'll get shot if you come to the States? It depends where you go. Depends where you go. If you come to where I live, it's pretty low. But there's also other places in California where your chances are a lot higher. I will say that. Earthquakes are weird, man. Earthquakes are a weird feeling. I've felt some big earthquakes in my life growing up in California. Yeah, I mean, guys, we're still waiting. We're starting to try to push through. Maybe we're trying to displace these highs, right? If we can displace these highs, then like that's just that confirmation I'm waiting for. Your chances are higher up in the Bay. Yeah, I'd probably agree with that. How have I traveled? Like I said, I've been extremely blessed in my life to be able to do some traveling. A lot of mission trips that I've been on, and then some cool vacations I've gotten to go on. Some pretty cool stuff. Yeah, I've been to Hawaii, been to Alaska, been to a good amount of states, and then I've been to Mexico a lot. I live so close. We used to go down to Tijuana a lot, build houses down there and stuff. And then I've been to Cuba 3 times, and then I've been to Colombia once. That was recently. I think that's all the. Oh, and Canada. I've also been to Canada. So yeah, I've been extremely blessed to get to travel to some really cool places. And I have so many places on my bucket list to go travel. I went to Medellin. I was in Medellin for not that long. I was only there for like a few days. It was pretty cool. El Poblado is where I stayed. Pretty crazy place down there. What was my parents' reaction when I started making money? They're pretty happy. They're pretty happy. I'll tell you that. I do want to go down to the DR. I've heard I've seen pictures and stuff. It looks really beautiful. That water down there too is so nice. I'm not sure what that is in Medellin. I don't think so. Is that like a specific, is that like a club or something? I don't know. I went to a few different clubs there. I mean, I wasn't like going crazy or anything, but it was my friend's birthday, so we definitely went to a few clubs to celebrate. I don't even remember what they were called, to be honest. Okay, so we're starting to get that breakout now. All right, we're finally getting that breakout back to the upside. Right, if this 5-minute displaces here, I know we have this 5-minute fair value gap up here, but this looks pretty strong. This looks pretty strong here. Pretty strong move to the upside. Yeah, before we've gotten that market structure shift here. Strong displacement move. Okay, so now this is when I'm starting to look for longs to step back in and look for an actual good setup here, right? I know we've been waiting for a while. And I know we have this 5-minute fair value gap, but I do think that after seeing the strong displacement move, I think we're going to push right through this. I think we're going to try to push right through that fair value gap. Okay, so now what I'm waiting for is a nice 1-minute order block to form, right? A 1-minute fair value gap to form. And like I said, if I miss out on the if I miss out on the trade, I miss out. you're not going to see me chasing price. You will not see me chase price just because I want to catch some action. No, I'm going to wait for the right setup. And once that shows itself, that's when I'm looking for a trade. Right? Like I said, we do have this 5 minute here. We just got consequent encroachment. So with price action today, I wouldn't be surprised if we did just see a drop from here. Obviously, it is a strong resistance level, and we're seeing that reaction. Right, but after seeing this break of structure here on the 5 minute and like strong displacement candle, I want to see us continue through and push through this 5 minute. Price is like a last. Don't chase. This market is like my ex-girlfriend. I don't want any part of it. Indecisive. Bipolar. Right, Radical Whooper? Come on. Hey, I get you. I get you. What do you want to eat? Oh, not that. That is the worst question. Alright guys, so now we're forming this 1 minute order block. If we push through this order block, that's when I'm waiting for that retracement. Right when we enter that order block again, that's when I'm going long. No trades right now. We did take one, and I ended up just scaling out of it. Like lost about 15 ticks with half a lot. But yeah, guys, this like I said, if we displace this 1 minute order block here, if we displace this 1 minute order block and we trade back into it, that's when I'm looking for the longs. Right, this 1 minute order block here, if we can displace above on the 1 minute time frame, right, you know, we could keep a decent stop, you know, 50 to 55 ticks. I would like to keep my stop beneath the order block, but that's a little too much risk if we have an entry all the way up here. Let's say we got a better entry down here, then I would keep my stop beneath this order block down here. So we're just going to see what our entry is. Right, but right when I see that, if this 1 minute displaces, right when we touch back into this and we start to bounce, that's when I'm getting an entry. Right, and then I'm looking to hold this all the way up to the highs. Right, so I'm looking to kind of catch a bigger trade on this one. We still haven't displaced though. We still haven't displaced, so obviously the more aggressive entry would be getting in the longs from here, assuming that we're going to bounce from this 1 minute. But today is not a day that I'm going to be more aggressive. Today is a day I'm going to be a lot more conservative and a lot more patient. Right? It's a riskier trade, not waiting for displacement. Right? But if you're feeling risky and that's what you want to do, that's what I'm saying. This would be that risky entry where you don't wait for that confirmation. But I'm obviously not going to take that, and as you can see, there's a reason why. There's a reason why I'm not taking that. Okay, the other thing is, if we form a little 5 minute order block here with the fair value gap below, that's another great entry level. Another great entry level just right here. Yeah, that's what I was saying. It's a lot riskier to get that entry here. We're not waiting for displacement. Right? So it's just a lot of manipulation today, guys. A lot of manipulation. But if we displace this high, right when we trade back into this order block, I'm looking for longs. I'm looking for longs. And say we do want to retrace back into this fair value gap and I get stopped out, well, I'll still look for a re-entry. I'll still look for a re-entry. Alright, but right now we're not getting displacement. We're seeing a strong bounce from our 5 minute fair value gap right here. So, again, guys, this market is so indecisive right now. And I know we're respecting our levels. So far, we are respecting our levels. But I'm just waiting for a true breakout, right? We haven't seen a true breakout. But like right here, this would be a nice 5 minute order block that, you know, maybe we come down into this 5 minute fair value gap. And if we start to bounce, I'll start looking for an entry down here. Okay, we haven't entered just yet. Okay, now we've entered. So if we do start to see a reaction from here, you know, that's when I'll start looking for longs. But not if we're moving down aggressively, you're not going to see me get a long entry. Like, you're not going to see me getting longs off this very strong bearish candle, right? But right when we start to bounce and we start to see aggressive movement back up, that's when I'm looking for longs. But not until that happens. Because again, we're respecting this 5-minute bearish fair value gap so far. Okay, but my reasoning is, guys, we're still bullish on the day. And we saw this strong displacement 5-minute candle. And I'm like, okay, maybe the longs are finally going to step in again. But then we see us trade into a 5-minute bearish fair value gap and we just drop. Right? So we're still ranging back and forth. We're still ranging back and forth. Yeah, that's a pretty strong bearish candle there. Pretty high volume. We did trade back into this 1-minute order block, but again, you're not going to see me long after this move. Not until I see us start to really push up aggressively. Alright, so it's just, I know today's been kind of whack. Alright, but like I said, it's kind of expected. It's kind of expected. Right, so I mean, strong bounce from the 5-minute bearish fair value gap for sure. So now we see, do we bounce again from the 5-minute order block, bullish order block, or are we going to push right through? Right, so I won't be looking for shorts until we do come down and take out our lows. Right, and I know we look very bearish, and if you're catching these shorts, good for you. But I still just don't have my convictions yet. I still don't have my convictions. And I'll keep saying it, if I miss out on a short, you know, if I miss out on a crazy trade, I don't care because it wasn't a part of my plan. Right, I would rather end the day a couple ticks in the red than force some trades that weren't according to my plan and then end up losing more money, right? Because I had FOMO, because I wanted to get involved, because I wasn't patient. That's just kind of the way I see it. Okay, pretty strong bearish candle, I will say. Looks like we're trying to come down and displace this 5-minute fair value gap. All right, we'll see if it continues to the downside. STYP. Stick to your plan. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, we actually are forming a 5-minute BPR right here. We're forming a 5-minute BPR, and if that's the case, we might see a strong bounce back down if we trade back up into this after this 5-minute close. Alright, what I mean by BPR, guys, is balanced price range, where you have a bullish fair value gap and a bearish fair value gap overlapping each other. Right, so now this imbalance has been rebalanced, and now this is a balanced price range. So, yeah, I mean, pretty boring so far for me, but oh well. Oh well, we'll continue to wait. Alright, these shorts are coming in hard though. These shorts are coming in hard. So let's see, 5-minute closes in like 15 seconds. Looks like we're going to completely displace this fair value gap, turning it into a balanced price range, right? Which now makes me not want to get in the longs. I don't typically look at volume profile. Okay, so here's the thing, like we could get an entry in the shorts off of like these fair value gaps here, you know, maybe up here. But my one issue with doing that right now is that we still haven't came down and displaced our lows. Right, and when we came down to these lows, we got a strong bounce from VWAP. And that's what's keeping me from that, right? But now we've come down, we've swept some sell side liquidity, right? And we've been ranging so much today to where I wouldn't even be surprised if we just pumped all the way back up, right? Your 1 minute. The 1 minute does have higher highs and higher lows. We did come down and take out this low here, right? But we have this low, higher low, higher low, higher high, higher high, higher high, right? Which is why, like, I'm still, you know, you still don't see me entering the shorts. I know the shorts do look very good right now, right? But to me, it's just not enough. It's just not enough. But again, okay, we're starting to see a drop. It's just we've been ranging so much to where it's like, yeah, you finally get a little bit of confirmation. If you only focus on the 1 minute time frame today, there'd be a lot of fake outs, okay? But if I start to see the strong displacement now on this 1 minute time frame, and we're actually respecting this bearish fair value gap, you know, and maybe we displace this low, then maybe I would start to look for shorts. But every time we see us try to continue that trend down and continue to try to break structure, we fail to do it. We fail to do it. So it's just like, this is one of those days that will really mess with your emotions. And I can probably assume that a good percentage of you guys have taken like a lot of trades during this. Yeah, maybe you've won, and I really do hope you've won trades. But I know there's probably a good amount of you that have taken a bunch of trades in this and have lost. That's just my assumption. It might not be true, but from my personal past experience, I would assume that that might be the case, right? Because that's something that I would have done too. Trust me. That's something that I would have done. Yeah, and it happens, guys. It happens. That's not to like, I'm not trying to say it in a negative way. I'm trying to say it in a positive way of it's just learning. This is just a learning process, right? We all have to go through it. We all have to go through it. Everybody does. But man, the more you can start teaching yourself discipline and patience, then you just start taking your win percentage will start going up, right? And it just things get better, okay? Because then you start to actually focus on your risk management. Because like for me right now, guys, I'm literally down 15 ticks. I don't know, 15 to 20 ticks on half a lot, maybe less. I don't even remember. Let me see, actually. I could do the math real quick. Let me do the math. Okay, so I'm down 24 ticks. 24 ticks with half a lot. Right? So for me, cutting that trade helped me actually still have, you know, a lot of room to trade today. A lot of room. Because if I would have held that trade down to my 50 tick stop loss, you know, I would have less leverage today to trade with, right? Because I'd be closer to my loss limit that I want to hit on the day, right? But I still have a lot of room. So now we're really breaking down. We're really breaking down here. So in terms of these shorts now, guys, right? We formed kind of that. We're forming that, you know, that market structure shift pattern. Right, where we have the high form, we trade down, we sweep liquidity on the high side, we trade down, we come back up, but we don't take out this high, and then we come back down. Right, so Right now it does look like we want to come back down. So what we could wait for is, okay, maybe price retraces into this BPR up here, or let's say we do trade back up into this 1 minute order block that we just displaced, which we kind of just traded into it. If we start to see a strong reaction from this 1 minute order block, I will start to think about taking shorts. But the issue is the risk here is we don't have great risk management from down here. I would want to see us retrace a little bit more, right? Right, and this is still a more aggressive trade because we still have not gotten a true market structure shift yet. Right, so you're not going to see me getting in off the strong bullish candle here. Right, I'm just waiting. If we start to see a very strong reaction back down, that's when I'll start thinking about shorts. Right, but like I said, we could come back up to this BPR up here on the 5 minute. Yeah, ES still hasn't broken these lows, but we do have that BPR and ES as well. Right, so shorts could be the play here, but right now we're too low for me to want to get in. Right, after seeing that strong bullish candle, we're too low. Right, so I'm just trying to find that really good entry here with really solid RR, right? Because my plan would be to catch it down to this low here, grab this liquidity right here. And then possibly hold it all the way down to our EQ down there, right? So our RR could be very good on this trade, right? But I'm just waiting for that good entry, right? So like say we get another displacement candle on this 1 minute, we retrace back into this order block, and then we react. Then I'll get that entry. I'll have my stop resting above this order block, and I'll feel more confident. You know, I'll have more conviction in that setup. But again, we still haven't gotten our true displacement to the downside, right? So it's still a riskier play in general. But seeing this very aggressive move down on both NQ and ES, right? Bouncing off this, you know, our 15-minute fair value gap or our 5-minute fair value gap, like it looks pretty bearish, right? So say we displace here on this 1 minute. Strong displacement candle, we retrace back into this, right? Because we still haven't displaced. So we still haven't displaced, even on the 1 minute. Not typically. I don't really look at Apple and those companies while I'm trading. All right, that's a pretty strong move back down off that order block. But I do look at those companies, you know, while I'm kind of analyzing the market, right? But not while I'm trading. Like all I look at while I'm trading is ES, NQ, the VIX, and DXY. While I'm trading, that's all I'm looking at. I keep it simple, right? I keep it very simple. Sometimes people get so focused on looking at 10 different charts at once that it really clouds your judgment, right? And you miss out on a lot of trades because you're not really focusing on what we should be focusing on, right? It's good to have more conviction and look at other charts. And if you can do that and you can still focus on what we're really looking at, good. But if you're looking at 5-10 different charts at once, sometimes that can really start to confuse you, right? And you're looking at too much and it can be overwhelming. All right, my strategy is pretty simple, okay? I keep it pretty simple, right? Like I always say, trading is not an easy thing to do, but it can be simple. Okay, so right now I'm still waiting for that 1 minute to try to form displacement. I know we keep forming these little 1 minute order blocks, but we don't really displace them strong enough. DXY. DXY is the other one. Yes. Yeah, I've known Danny is starting that prop firm for a little while now. Yeah, pretty exciting stuff for him. Pretty exciting stuff. Okay, guys, so right? Like there's times you guys could have, obviously I'm sure a lot of you have tried to short a lot of this, and yeah, you might have caught a pretty good trade if you held it all the way down to here, but still there's nothing, like there's so much manipulation right now in this market. Like look at this, every time I'm like, okay, we're finally going to get that set up, nope, we just manipulate again. Let's look at the 5 minute. Yeah, that's true. You know, we did get that SMT up here after we traded into that SIBI. That's a good eye. It's a good catch. I look at just Forex Factory. It's for all my news. It really breaks down the news very clearly. Shows you what impact it's going to have. What the news is specifically. So that's what I look at. And again, guys, if you want, like, that's JB sends out news updates every single day. And he even sends, you know, that Forex Factory news to our news tab. So if you ever are confused on when it's coming out, JB's got you. Yeah, so on the 5 minute, guys, we did have SMT up here when we touched into the SIBI. So look how we have this high right here. And it's over here on ES, and we did trade up above. We got SMT, right, while ES failed to break above, right? So we did have SMT there for sure, right? But for me, seeing this strong breakthrough movement and our trend overall in the day is bullish, I wasn't really looking to short right there. Yeah, I mean, he takes it from Forex Factory, and he also, I know he has a lot of different stuff he's looking at. I don't know specifically what websites, but I'm sure you could DM him and he'd be happy to tell you. Like I said, guys, I'm just going to continue this patience. I know we're now into our next hourly candle. So we did have a very strong bearish candle on this hourly time frame, but we did touch into that hourly bullish fair value gap, right? So yeah, it's just so much ranging. Look at the 15 minute, a lot of ranging. So yeah, it's just, it's not, this isn't what I like to trade. This is not what I like to trade. All right, I would rather, if price action continues like this all day, I would rather wait until Monday to take another trade than try to force trades in this market and lose profit from the past week. Do you need private funding to start a prop firm? I'm pretty sure you can leverage a bank. But I think you obviously have to have a really good relationship with that bank, and you have to have a lot to show for yourself. But I'm sure you could leverage a bank. I'm sure a bank would probably jump on that idea. Yeah, I mean, I know I keep repeating myself, guys, but I'm just waiting. I'm just waiting. Okay, so now we're starting to see real displacement here. Hopefully we see real displacement here. Right, little 1 minute breaker. Okay, so there's a strong move. This is what I've been waiting for, but now we just need to see actual continuation. I need to see actual continuation now. Because look at that pullback. Let's see how this 1 minute closes. This is a strong displacement candle here. This is what I've been waiting for. Okay, if we look here, we kind of have a little 1 minute breaker, bearish breaker. Fair value gap setting up, right? High, low, higher, high. Strong displacement move taking out the lows. So now what I'll wait for is if we can catch it, right? Obviously, I'm not going to chase these shorts right now. But if we can catch this move, if we can catch retracement back up into this level, that's when I'll start looking to short. Right, use my Fibonacci here from the low to the high. All right, pretty good. Pretty good levels here to short from. So now I just need to see that retracement into this fair value gap, and that's when I'll start looking, right? This is like a 1 minute unicorn. We obviously haven't displaced, but now we've created relatively equal lows here on the 5 minute, or we're creating them at least. Right, so now if we can start to bounce from here, I'll start looking to get in shorts here, guys. Okay, I'm going to try out the shorts here. I'm going to try out the shorts. Just half a lot. Half a lot. My entry is obviously pretty low, but we just bounced from that fair value gap. We're below VWAP. 17,908.75 is my entry. Okay, I'll just keep a 50 tick stop. I know we can still retrace up into this breaker unicorn, and if we do that, then I'll look for a re-entry, but I'm going to add into a full here. I just add into a full. Okay, so my entry moved down to 907.75. All right, so I'll keep a 50 tick stop. I know the stop isn't ideal. It's at 17,920.25 because we still could retrace all the way up into this breaker again, but still, if I do get stopped, I'll look for a re-entry in the same trade. So I'm willing to try this one out because of that reaction we saw off this fair value gap. All right, this is a play that I would like to take here. Right, first TP could be at this liquidity level down here, about 56 ticks. That's probably where I'll take my first TP. Right down at this low. So we got to just see that follow through now. We got to see that drop. And we're not seeing it just yet, but like this is that manipulation I was talking about, guys. Obviously, I said we could still touch up into this breaker, into this unicorn. So if that does happen, I'm still going to look for a re-entry in the shorts, but I love that we generated equal lows here. We form a fair value gap. We start to bounce from that fair value gap. All right, so my first TP is at this low, 17,893.50, and then I'll look to keep holding that if we break through with strength all the way down here. Okay, I'm liking the rejection. We touched into that breaker. We touched into our unicorn. That's a good rejection from that level. Okay, so remember, first TP's here. Now we just got to see follow through with some momentum. We're obviously kind of struggling here. We might wait until this 5 minute closes to actually get that breakthrough, forming a 5 minute order block. We're going to see. So hopefully we get that breakthrough right now and we really drop. But like I said, if we do want to range back up and we want to retrace a little bit more and stop me out, well, I'll still look for one more re-entry. Right, I would still look for another re-entry if we respect this breaker still. But we touched into that unicorn. That gives me that confirmation. But we're just struggling here at VWAP. I know we're struggling, but like I said, we might wait for that 5 minute candle to close here. Right, officially make those equal lows, and then we might drop. But let's see, we could easily drop right now. We just closed again below VWAP. I want to see us just drop very aggressively here. Like I said, so much manipulation today. So much up and down. Just want to see that follow through. I want to catch that expansion move right now. This is the only like truly A+ setup that I've seen so far that I really want to take, and that, you know, I have conviction in this trade. I do. But let's see if we want to, you know, we're waiting for that 5 minute to close. Like I said, we might be waiting for this 5 minute to close. We've got about 15 seconds left here on the 5 minute. Remember, first TP is about 56 ticks at this low. If I hit that, I'll move my stop to break even, then I'll look to hold all the way down to our equilibrium of that news fair value gap. 5 minutes closing right now. Okay, let's see that follow through. Let's see us drop here. Come on, I don't like that open. I don't like that open. I don't like that open very much. Stop manipulating. Stop messing with our emotions here. Just drop here. Yeah, I mean, either way, guys, I know my risk. I know what I'm willing to trade. I know what I'm willing to lose. But I still love this trade. I still have a lot of conviction in this trade. We generated these equal lows. We have a lot of sell side liquidity now. But we might manipulate a little bit more. As we're seeing right now, we just started to chop. Right when we got into our trade, we've chopped ever since. We have chopped ever since we got into this trade. Okay, let's see. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Gonna keep holding this one. Gonna keep holding this one with my stop at the same level. I know, we closed below VWAP, and then we just come right... Alright. So I just got stopped there. I just got stopped, but again, we're back into this unicorn here. Alright, like I said, I expected we might get a little bit of retracement, and if we start to bounce from this unicorn again, I'll look for another entry in the shorts here. But we got to see a strong bounce. Got to see a strong bounce here. I won't enter off a very strong bullish candle, but again, we see this accumulation. Hopefully this is our manipulation move here. We touch into that unicorn, and then we get to drop it down again. Alright, but you won't see me get an entry off of an extremely bullish candle like that one. Yeah, now our 5 minute looks extremely bullish. So yeah, just a lot of manipulation here. But we've still created these equal lows, so I do expect us to come back down to this level. I expect us to come back to this level. Alright, now it's just about timing it right. Now it's just about timing it right. Alright, I'm going to try it out one more time here. I'm going to try out the shorts one more time. I know we still look bullish here. As long as we can respect this breaker, then, you know, I still believe in the shorts. Again, if we do close above this breaker, I'll get out and I'll probably call it a day on this account. I got filled very low on that one. Whoa. Very low. Yeah, I'm just I'm just going to get out of this here. Let's see here. Let's see, where's my stop? I didn't even have time to place a stop. But again, if we come back up, I'll place my stop just at the high that we just formed, and if we come back up and take it, I'm out. I'm only in half a lot. Alright. Yeah, I'm calling it a day, guys, on this account. I'm calling it a day. I'll probably call it a day here. You know, I still have room to take some more trades, but I just got, you know, kind of manipulated there. That's how it goes sometimes. That's how it goes. Obviously, we saw that 5 minute start to look bullish. I will say, though, I do expect us to still come back down and try to grab these equal lows. But I don't want to give back any more profits. I don't want to give back any more profits from that I've made the past this week. Right? I have made a lot of profits this week. And after seeing this market right now, I don't know if I want to give any more of those back. Right, like I said, I haven't hit my daily loss limit for the day. I still have room, but do I want to risk it? Probably not. Not with this price action right now. But yeah, that was the only setup I've seen so far that I really wanted to take, and it didn't play out. And it happens, right? It happens. Yeah, so at this point, you know, I'll still be looking for trades. I'm still gonna look for trades, but I'm gonna be, you know, I'm not gonna be super aggressive or anything, but I'll still look for trade setups. And obviously, we still have our prop firm session coming up today, and we're still gonna run our prop firm session. But in terms of my main account, I don't know if I want to continue to trade it. right? There are days when you just need to know when to walk away, right? You need to know when to not just never revenge trade, right? The only way I would still trade this account today is if I saw one more A+ setup where I'm like, okay, I'm gonna take this trade. This looks really good. As long as I keep my risk management good to where I'm still under my daily loss limit on my account, I'm okay with that, right? But I don't know. Today's just been a little bit wacky. I don't know if I want to keep trading this. Right? And if you're down on the day, I would, you obviously can do what you want, but I would honestly recommend not to force trades in this market, right? If you're down, you've already hit your loss limit, don't keep over trading, right? Don't keep over trading. Yeah, I came into this market expecting some bad price action, but then we started to see a true, what I thought was a true breakout move. We obviously didn't wait for displacement on a higher time frame, but I still think these lows will come down and get taken out eventually. So yeah, that's what I'll say. Like, I'm obviously going to take losses. It's not always going to be winning days. I know the past 2 weeks have been pretty much only winning days. But as long as you know how to manage your losses correct, you're going to be all right. Okay? If you can learn how to lose, it's just a part of the game. It's just a part of the game. Okay? Know how to lose, know when to walk away. Those two things will save you from so many blown accounts. Like, you're not going to see me taking a bunch more trades today with this account because I now realize that, all right, well, I'm down. I probably don't want to keep trading this. Price action's been all over the place. Why risk more on a Friday, NFP Friday, when I'm up so much on the week? I'm just gonna let it be. And then we'll come back with our 50K prop firm accounts at 10:30 Pacific. And, we'll scale down. We'll be trading micros on those accounts. And, we'll look for good setups there. Right? So what I would say at this point, if you're in the red, if you're feeling tempted to keep trading, if you feel that temptation to keep trading, walk away, close your computer. If you feel that revenge trading coming on, your emotions are taking over, walk away. Go work out. Go do something different, right? Get out of your house. Just walk away. Because the worst thing you can do today is throw back all the profits you made this week. You're going to be so upset with yourself, I can promise you. If you continue to trade and lose trades, like I hope if you are going to continue to trade, you're taking very good setups and you're still managing your risk the right way. But if you're not going to do that, just walk away. Right? Just walk away. It's just, I don't think it's worth it, right? Why are you not taking 150K passing sessions? You mean our prop firm sessions? We're focusing on the 50Ks. We're focusing on our 50K prop firms because that's the one, like, I normally recommend to beginners. Right, is that 50K. I think that's kind of our, you don't want to start out with 150K, 300K accounts when you haven't passed a 50K before, right? So we're focusing on those 50Ks, right? We have those 50K accounts up pretty good in the past 2 weeks. Yeah, it is by far the best RR. I'll be trading at 10:30 Pacific time. So just before power hour, it's kind of that silver bullet hour, right? Going into that silver bullet hour, that's when I like to trade. And then we'll call it a day after that. Okay, so like I said, guys, focus on managing your risk. Don't overtrade today. Don't revenge trade if you are red. Remember, we are human. We're going to lose. It's going to happen. But you just have to learn how to lose. Good winners know how to lose, right? Do you think all the greats in sports and stuff won every game? No. But they knew how to lose. They definitely didn't like it. They hated losing. but they learn from their losses, right? And that's what I try to focus on every time I lose. I don't think of it as a failure. I think of it as a learning moment, and I think of it as, okay, how am I going to improve from this? How am I going to get better next time? Right? And the way I get better is by stepping away from journaling my trades, seeing where I went wrong, seeing what happened, and then that way the next session I come into, my mind is cleared. I'm not thinking about those trades anymore. It's in the past. I've learned from it. I've gotten my psychology down. I'm good. Right? So that's what I would recommend in terms of losing days. Right? Trust me, I hate losing more than everybody, more than most people. I hate it, but it happens. I'm not going to let my emotions get the best of me when I take a loss and overtrade and revenge trade. That's not what I do. Okay, so recap of the last 2 weeks. So out of 10 trading days, we've had 2 losing days so far on our main trading session. So that makes us 8 for 10, right? That's an 80% win rate. So for me, walking away today is best case scenario. We're still 8 for 10. I'm still up a lot on the week. I'm completely okay with just walking away, taking my profits. All right, so anyways, again, guys, remember today is our last day of the free Discord. Tomorrow if you're on the free Discord, you will lose access to live trading, and to our, a lot of our content. So I do hope to see more of you. I really hope that you'll want to sign up and continue on this journey with me. If not, I understand. If you've got other things you want to do, I wish all the best to you, right? But again, today is that last day. The link is in the announcements if you are interested in signing up for, to continue trading. I would love to have you. Okay. But yeah, so I'll see you guys in a little bit for our prop firm session. Yeah, so whenever you signed up for that, the 7-day free trial, it'll expire, right? So it'll charge you after the 7 days, and then you'll be good to go. All right, so I appreciate all of you so much. Thank you for being here. Thank you for learning. I think it's just 7 days. I think it's just 7 days. I'm pretty sure. Okay, sounds good, dude. I'll go check out that request. I appreciate you guys a lot again. God bless everybody. Remember, please trade safe in these markets. Crazy conditions today. All right. I'm going to go eat some food, kind of get some air, clear my mind, get ready, get prepared for our next session so we can come back and kill it and end the day strong. All right. That's my plan, and I hope to see you guys soon for our last session of the week. All right, guys, you're the best. God bless you all. I'll see you in a little bit. Peace.